time to talk about mental health and resiliency. Last month, we talked about skill number 2, which was values-based goals, and we charted a course for living our best life. It was very interactive. We had a lot of writing and thinking to do. This month, we're going to discuss skill number 3, which is called Bring Your Strengths. There's still going to be some interaction, so grab your favorite notepad and pen or your laptop. But it's not going to be as much interaction as skill number 2. But we still needed to think about some things and process some things if we're going to improve resilience. So normally we would start out the video and I'd tell you what resiliency is and how it helps you mentally and physically. If you want to know those things, please go watch skill number 1 or skill number 2, and that's covered in there. Today we're going to start off with something I've learned about mental health, a little mental health fact. Then we're going to jump into bringing your strengths. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll help you identify what your strengths are, and then we'll set a plan for you to develop your strengths in a couple of different ways. So we've got a couple of activities, but let's get started. So first thing I wanted to share with you guys, I read a newsletter by a brain doctor, Dr. Daniel Amen. And in today's newsletter, he was talking about depression, which is common, more common than I realized. And he said that 2 out of 3 people that are dealing with depression are not currently seeking help. So I thought that was relevant to the things we're studying. And I wanted to say, if you are a person dealing with depression and you're watching this video, you're probably the 1 in 3 that's doing something about it and trying to get better. So I commend you and applaud you for that. That's just awesome. Whether you're dealing with depression or not, by the end of this video, all of us will have a better understanding of how to bring our strengths and improve our mental resilience and our mental health. So there's your little fun fact for the day. Depression's common and most people aren't getting help. So let's be different. Let's get healthy. Let's get better. When we talk about bringing our strengths, it's important to talk about what most people do. Most of us don't bring our strengths. Many of us focus on what's wrong with us or how we need to improve. We don't spend enough time focusing on our strengths and what's really right about us, what we're good at. But research shows that bringing your strengths to the table helps improve performance. It helps us stay more engaged in what we do, brings us a sense of meaning and purpose. People who use their strengths have a stronger sense of well-being and less stress. They're also more energized in the task. So I want to read for you really quickly what happens when you use your strengths at work. Using strengths in your job is associated with a range of health and performance benefits. Compared to those who do not use their strengths, employees who use their strengths at work are more engaged, more satisfied, and have less turnover. I want to read for you a few more advantages as it pertains to leadership and bringing strengths. And I love this one right here. Leaders who recognize the strengths of the people on their team improve both their individual performance and the team's performance. So, do you think we should be focusing on our weaknesses and what we're not good at and what we need to improve? Or do you think there's some benefit? Research says there's some benefit from focusing on our strengths. So, we want to find out, what are your signature strengths? We may have a lot of strengths, but we want to focus on your top ones. Signature strengths, what are they? Well, they're those that you own, that you celebrate, that you like doing, and that you exercise frequently. So many people feel a sense of authenticity and excitement when they're using their strengths. To sum it up, when you're using your signature strengths, you're being the best you. And that's what we want to do, right? You want to be your best you. So first thing we got to do is identify what your strengths are. I'm going to give you 2 ways to do that. The first way, and the way I did it, is I took what's called a VIA survey, Values and Action Survey. I'm going to leave a link down in the comments below. It'll take you about 5 minutes to answer some very simple questions. And then at the end, you'll have a list of 24 rank ordered strengths. And those top 3 to 5 are your signature strengths. That's a great way to get some very accurate information. The second way to do it, if you don't want to spend 5 minutes, this is a close second. You can just do this. Here's a list of, I believe, the 24 strengths that you'll get in that test. Pause the video. Think about which of these strengths are your top strengths. Pick 3 to 5. And while you're thinking about it, I want you to think about what we talked about earlier. Which ones of these strengths do you exercise frequently? Do you celebrate using? Which ones of these do you really own? Pause the video, pick out 3 to 5. Okay, whether you took the survey or just used that list and thought about it, you've got your top signature strengths now. We have identified what your strengths are. Perfect. Now we have to develop those. Just knowing them, fine, great. But we got to get better. We got to continue to exercise and get better. Quick note I need to insert here. So when you identify your strengths, when you're looking at those, especially if you took the survey, you need to read the definitions carefully because they may capture a different concept than how you perceive them. So like, for example, leadership on the VIA survey is focused on achieving group consensus and harmony. Doesn't mean you're a bad leader if leadership is low on your list. Just means your top strength is not achieving consensus and harmony, which you may be good at. It's just not your top strength. I have a friend named Katie. Love is her last strength. It's number 24. That does not mean that Katie does not know how to love or that she's not lovable or that love doesn't matter to her. Katie's number 1 strength is creativity. So what it could mean and probably means is Katie expresses love by doing creative things for the people that she cares about. So just because something's low on your list doesn't mean that you don't have that strength. And so know that. And number 2, read the definition because it may mean something that you don't think it means. I will tell you really quickly, if you're wondering, here's 5 of the most common strengths: kindness, fairness, honesty, gratitude, and judgment. Those are the most common. The least common are prudence, humility, and self-regulation. Something I struggle with, self-regulation. I think that's my number 24. When I'm good, I'm good at it, but I need to practice and I don't need to practice and get better at it. I need to focus on my strengths is what I need to do. So first activity, I want you to write down your top, or I want you to think about a time you used one of your top signature strengths and write a few sentences about how you use that strength. Pause the video, take as much time as you need. Okay, you're done with that. A little bonus for you for those that have been following this video series. Compare your strengths to your values from skill 2. Do you notice anything there? How do those compare? Excuse me, it might help you reveal something about who you are. Are your values lined up with your strengths in any way? If you haven't done that, that's okay. We're going to move on. We've identified our strengths. Fantastic. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. We got to develop our strengths. We're going to do that in 2 ways. We're going to develop our strengths every day, and we're going to be prepared to do that anytime we're facing new challenges. So, final activity, we're going to answer 3 questions. How can bringing one of your signature strengths help you out at your job? Number 2, how can bringing one of your signature strengths help in your personal life? Pause the video, think about that. Now, last question, how can focusing on your signature strengths help you with a challenge you're currently facing or a challenge you might face in the future? It's good to think about that right now. Pause the video, take as much time as you need for those questions. Okay, that's it. Skill number 3, bring your strengths. Super simple lesson that will really boost that mental resilience and your well-being physically and mentally. We talked about this skill improving engagement and building meaning in your life. You understand how your strengths can contribute to your work performance and your personal life. So you know what the strengths are. Now you got to develop them and practice them. Finally, I will say that, if you do that, you will increase your mental resilience, which will improve your mental health, which will make your life better. And speaking of life, I'd like to close out the video and just say, if you're a person dealing with any sort of mental health issue or any sort of resiliency issue, I encourage you to reach out to someone you trust immediately, or to dial 988, the new national crisis hotline. Again, you can get better and you will get better, but you have to take the first step. Life is tough. Ask me how I know, but this is your journey, and I hope this video helps you on that journey. Again, it would mean a lot to me if you guys left me some feedback, especially if it's answers to the questions. You can do that on YouTube, Facebook, if that's where you're seeing it, or you can text me, instant message me, whatever you want to do. But good luck on your journey. I hope you get healthy. And until next time, practice bringing your strengths.